Hello, my name is David Deegan and I'm an Executive Development Director here at Cranfield University School of Management. Today I'm joined by Dr. Jutta Tobias, who has been investigating mindfulness within organisations and looking at mindfulness as a strategic asset. So Jutta, when I hear that word mindfulness, it makes me think about meditation and it feels like a bit of a buzzword of the moment. So can you tell us more about what it really means?
Well, David, meditation is practicing mindfulness while sitting still. You can become mindful by meditating, but not all meditators are actually mindful. So let me explain this some more by defining mindfulness for you. Many people use the definition by Jon Kabat-Zinn from the University of Massachusetts Medical School, and that is paying attention in the present moment non-judgmentally. And because of Jon Kabat-Zinn's strong connection to Buddhism, people assume that mindfulness is all about looking inside and sitting still. And this is surely an effective way to get into mindfulness and to start paying attention to the present, because most of us find it quite hard to simply be here and be fully present unless we close our eyes and actively try to be still. And so sitting still and closing our eyes helps when we're feeling overwhelmed by the amount of stimulation and the amount of brain activity that's so common for the typical multitasking, information overload, 21st century busy business person. But mindfulness doesn't necessarily involve meditation, and it definitely is about more than stress reduction and about more than calming down our brains. This is why I'm interested in mindfulness, and this is why I'm often using the definition of mindfulness that Professor Ellen Langer from the Harvard University created, and that is a flexible state of mind in which we are actively engaged in the present. In other words, being mindful means being open-minded, being interested, being curious about what we can learn about the situation we're finding ourselves in. So a mindful mindset is something highly beneficial for a person, and it's highly beneficial for an organization as well. And there are many different ways into mindfulness. For example, now I could become more mindful about what we're doing here by actively noticing what it's like to sit here with you, by making sure I pay attention to the expression in your face right now, by checking in with myself and by checking in with what's going on for you, and so on.
So Jutta, you're saying that there are several ways to think about mindfulness in an organisation, and there is no single path to becoming mindful. So why would an organisation want to get its head around this?
Because there's a growing body of evidence that suggests that mindfulness can help trigger positive change at any level in an organisation, including my own research. But for many busy managers coming to work with us here at Cranfield, meditation and sitting still at work is simply not an option. And having people sit still and meditate may be somewhat less effective to bring mindfulness into an organisation as a whole than to look at mindfulness as a multi-level, multi-layer construct. Let me break that down a little bit more for you. So we know that organizations and individuals don't operate in a vacuum. Most of our work is interactive, and most of our work depends on others and on other factors outside of ourselves, or even when something inside ourselves seems difficult or stressful when we're at work, it's often to do with something about the organization. For example, a new policy, a new competitor, or quite often a person we find difficult to deal with. So focusing on mindfulness meditation techniques alone to make organizations mindful is a bit like using a teaspoon to plow a whole field. What I mean is there are more holistic ways to benefit from mindfulness in organizations, and I've started to develop a more comprehensive mindfulness toolkit for executives at Cranfield.
That's really interesting, Jutta. So what does a comprehensive mindfulness toolkit actually look like?
Well, in essence, at Cranfield, we believe we can promote mindfulness in teams and other groups in organizations through different practices and by generating space and insight in a variety of ways. The key insight I use in my executive education research and in my teaching is that mindfulness looks and feels different at different levels in an organization. And it looks and appears different for different protagonists interested in embedding mindfulness throughout their organization. So the innovation I'm bringing to my executive clients and to my students is to teach mindfulness simultaneously at an individual, often stress-relieving level, and at a social or team level. For example, by using different mindfulness techniques to generate thoughtfulness and smart decisions. Working with executives and teams at multiple levels simultaneously really helps tap into the broad potential that mindfulness can bring to an organization.
So you're telling me that mindfulness is about a range of techniques that can operate at several different levels. Mm-hmm. Can you give us an example of how that would operate at a team level?
For example, by asking people in teams to systematically look at the ways in which they process successes or failures in the team in order to unearth the unspoken and often unexamined underlying values, beliefs, and assumptions that prevent teams from seeing their challenges from a different perspective and from genuinely learning from both successes and from failures. Often such inquiries trigger defensiveness or conflict in unexpected ways, or people simply hide mentally by pretending they don't have any issues or gripes to discuss rather than speaking up authentically. So combining individual level, often stress-relieving mindfulness practice at that point within such an inquiry help cool our collective engines, so to speak. And it enables us, during such an exercise, to be adaptive and resilient enough to stay authentic and to genuinely face whatever such an inquiry brings up for specific individuals or for the whole team. So in this way, the individuals and the teams involved can use a combination of different mindfulness techniques to help become more open-minded, more curious, and more interested in actually learning.
And how do you think that your work and your insights could help an organisation?
Focusing on mindfulness needs at individual and at team and at the social space for people where they are all working and all at the same time, this really helps turbocharge the effectiveness of any mindfulness intervention or training program. It also makes a mindfulness intervention more sustainable, we believe, compared to, for example, meditation training, because it allows us to contextualize and genuinely embed mindfulness solutions into our clients' realities. So we believe that the way to crack the code of sustainable business improvement through mindfulness is to intervene at an individual, at a team, and at an organizational level simultaneously. We think this can generate space for thinking and for opening up minds to ultimately make organizational mindfulness happen. This is how we believe mindfulness becomes a strategic asset, and that's what we're working on right here at Cranfield.
Thank you very much for taking the time to share with us your thoughts and your insights from the research that you've been doing. And if you'd like to know more about Jutta's research and the work that we're doing here at Cranfield University, then please do contact us via the link below.